on the scene trying to figure out what has happened.
IG, this shit fucked up. They out here cloning this. What the fuck going on in this bitch?
That's right, that is the prevailing theory.
Tell me, is it just a dream?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a really long time since I brought you guys a high quality video. I've been working on rebuilding the channel and rebranding the channel to be more of a film review, discussion, sometimes reactions, you know, but the reactions won't be what the channel is about anymore. I enjoy film and entertainment like the next person, right? And it seems like film and entertainment is a very lucrative business, even if the film is bad. We could talk about the good, we could talk about the bad, but 9 times out of 10, especially in this day and age, a film is going to be bad. They're trying to push some kind of message or some type of ideal, and you know, 9 times out of 10, it won't work out. So I'll be here to talk about that. Now, I am still waiting on some stuff for my channel, such as a soft light, such as a microphone, tripod, so I can put the tripod or the microphone in front of my face instead of holding the microphone. So I put out a short the other day that said that we would be talking about They Cloned Tyrone on Netflix. It's a Netflix exclusive, okay? Now, I love the movie. I loved it. I thought it was a breath of fresh air. The quality, the cinematography, and even the story was really good. Now, I will be reading off of cards, right? I do want to bring you guys high quality videos and very informative videos, so you guys can listen, watch, and then go out and make your own decision on if you like the film or not, and then let me know in the comment section why you don't like or do like. Now, before I do get into any details as far as the film goes, I do want to put a disclaimer in front of the video and state that there will be spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie on Netflix, this is your moment to click off and go watch the movie and then come back. Now, if you are new here, subscribe and turn on your bell notifications. If you have been a subscriber for the past 4 or 5 years, I really do appreciate your patience and constant support. I see it. It doesn't go unnoticed, but like I said, I need to take a long time off and rebrand and rethink on what I wanted to do. I'm writing my own movies, writing my own scripts, trying to get business proposals down. So I really appreciate your endless support. Now, They Cloned Tyrone came out, right? Not earlier this year, but a couple of weeks ago. And since then, people have not stopped talking about it, and rightfully so, because the movie was great, starring Jamie Foxx as a pimp, okay, John Boyega as Fonte, and a couple of other clones, and her name is Teyonah Parris as Yo-Yo. Now, any of those 3 people you've probably seen in other things. Jamie Foxx is most notably famous for his R&B career. John Boyega, I know him mostly from the Star Wars movies. He did do a movie in the UK, because that is where he's from, that really put his name on the map, and I didn't know about that movie. I will be checking it out to see you know, his range. And Teyonah, who I know from WandaVision and or a new movie coming out called The Marvels. I really didn't know much about her before this movie, but she's really good. And I think she just had a baby, so congratulations. Now, this movie takes so many different turns that you don't see coming. And in the name, They Cloned Tyrone, we follow Fonte. We see the movie from his perspective. We see everything going on from his perspective. Now, the whole time I was sitting there watching the movie, right, I'm like, okay, they cloned Tyrone. So I'm expecting the main character to be Tyrone. I'm like, okay, Fonte. He gets shot. Boom. Wakes up. Sort of like the Twilight Zone. I'm just sitting here like, okay, we just watched him die. A gangster just came and lit his car up, and he's alive. So early on in the movie, it didn't click for me that, wow, he was just cloned and the clone was just laid back in his bed like nothing ever happened. Wakes up, goes on about his day to day like he's been doing, and the movie goes on and you start to really get a feel of, okay, this feels like an arena, right? This doesn't feel real. These characters are acting very strange. Everything feels extremely scripted. It feels like a movie within a movie. It feels like the Twilight Zone, right? So as you watch, you have three main characters who I just named. Yo-Yo, his name, Jamie Foxx's character's name is Slick Charles, who is a pimp. And then we have Fonte. So as the movie goes on, and you slowly start to realize that Fonte's a clone, right? Nothing he's doing is under his control. It's all programmed in him to do what he's been doing up until a certain point. Slick Charles, who you later realize in the movie is a clone. So you sitting here like, wait a minute. Did they clone the whole damn town? Are these people real? Right? Then the rabbit hole gets deeper. They figure out that these products that the townspeople have been using is laced with this chemical. And you would think it's crack, but it's not. It's laced with this man-made chemical to control. Because the whole idea of this movie is to bring peace. But all I've been seeing is chaos. They've been working on happiness and peace. This organization that created all of this and is taking headquarters under this town are controlled by white people, and the experiments are taken on too by blacks, right? You see nothing but black people being experimented on, cut open, in cages. And in some ways, there was some points where I sat there and was like, isn't that funny? Because a lot of what this movie is built on, mind you, the directors, screenwriters, they're black. So before you get in the comments section and, say a bunch of crap, hear me out. Now, the screenwriter and director, right, is Juel Taylor. I don't know if I said his name right, but Juel Taylor. He's known for Creed 2, Space Jam's A New Legacy, and now this movie. He did do another movie that I wasn't too familiar with, but I am familiar with Creed and Space Jam's. Space Jam's was not one of my favorite movies. Creed 2, Creed 3, and then the first Creed. Loved them all, right? And then the screenwriter's name is Tony Rettenmeier. If I said that wrong, and if you ever see this video, I apologize. But these two gentlemen, lifelong friends from what I've read, because I read an interview on the New York Times about how he came up with the idea of this movie, and I'll leave that interview linked in the description so you can read it through yourself. But I saw a lot of what he was talking about when he talked about how where he grew up, he saw what happened a lot. In this movie, he saw, and although it wasn't in the 80s, for me, it was late 90s, early 2000s. He's a little older than me. I think he's around 34, 35. So he was younger in the 80s. So he saw the ghetto and the hood through a lens that's different than mine. I grew up in Jersey, Newark, Jersey City. Sometimes I would go to my family's in Harlem, Brooklyn, Bronx. So I saw a lot of bad things growing up. You know what I mean? It's a product of the environment that you grew up in. So people out there saying that this movie is blackism or it's woke or it's this and that. I didn't get that feeling because I tried not to see it that way. I tried to be entertained by the movie. You know what I mean? And a lot of what went on in this movie is very reflective of what goes on in real life. You know, it's not exploitation. It's none of that. This is stuff that actually goes on in day-to-day life. The clothes may be different. The cars may be different. The way people talk may be different. But this is stuff that happens. So I was reading a lot of his interview, and one question that the interviewer asked him was, are you afraid of the backlash that you may get from people? And it wasn't quoted just like that, but you know, he was asked that question and he was like, of course. To be in this business, you basically have to expect some level of pushback from people, which is true. You know, you can't be a creative and expect everybody to love what you do or what you say. You can't be a social media person and expect everybody to do or love what you say, which he is absolutely right. But I have not seen one person, except for people that don't look like me, complain about this movie. This movie took so many unexpected turns, where from John Boyega playing like 15 different clones in the movie, his range in this movie was ridiculously good. Ridiculously good. He played this one clone that basically was a robot, was a driver, was a mixed martial artist, was a hitman, was a killman. He played that part. Although we didn't see that clone on the screen for too long, he played that part well. He played Fonte well. And then at the end of the movie, we finally get Tyrone. We see the fear in the intrigue and the what the hell is going on in Tyrone's face. He played that part really well. He played that. His range, if he doesn't get more film opportunities after this movie, I'm going to be highly disappointed, because I liked him in the Star Wars movies. He was one of my favorite parts of the Star Wars movies, and it was kind of disheartening to not really hear about him or see him in a lot of other things after those movies, because John Boyega is a pretty good actor, and this movie really sold me on his range of acting. I want to see him in more things after this. We're always going to see Jamie Foxx and maybe Tiana, because in this she was really good. She played her part how she was supposed to play her part. And these characters go deeper than what we see. She wanted to get out of where she was and do better for herself, but all of these characters, it just felt like they were being pulled back to where they came from. And now knowing that a lot of these characters weren't real per se is kind of disheartening, because you really started gravitating and feeling how these characters were, you know, and to know that they were just programmed to be this way is crazy. She wasn't a clone in the movie. They were going to clone her. It was a form of torture. They were doing all these things to her, and then we found out that was pretty much a setup to infiltrate the headquarters of where this place was. I'm glad that she got some time to shine. Nothing bad happened to her. But it's just like, now you answer 5 questions with what happens, and then you have 15 more. I don't particularly like the original. I don't remember his name. I think it was Tyrone, the original Tyrone's reasoning for why he was doing what he was doing. I don't like it at all. It was a corny villain origin story to me. His reason was he watched his brother die. So therefore he didn't want anyone else to go through it, which is understandable. But bro, you completely did the opposite of what you could have done. And you're torturing people, you're drugging people, you're cloning people, you cloned yourself. You want to do it to yourself, that's fine, but don't take it to everybody else. You just, why? What was the reason? Honestly, what was the reason for you doing what you did? No, it wasn't, because it was greed at the end of the day, because you was getting paid, you was getting funded to do research. Let's be honest. I didn't like his original reasoning. So, it goes on, and I'm all over the place. I'm new to actually giving an authentic film review, but it goes on. They infiltrate. They basically shed a light on what's been going on. And then when you think that it ended there, no, it didn't. Because there are more camps like that going on around the world. Because by the end of the movie, we saw the original Tyrone, I guess the clone that was cloned after the original Tyrone. And he's basically living his life in California like Fonte was living his. The exact same way. So now you're just like, again? Now, I knew there was clones of him out there, but I thought the clones that we would be privy to was the clones that was in the basement of that house. All of those clones that we saw of Fonte. And then I thought that Tyrone was the one that basically started all of this. Nope. Wow. Was I wrong? This movie was good. I got a feel of the invasion of the body snatchers. I got a feel of another movie from 1975, I think it was. 1973 called The Clones. Right? I got a feel of Gemini Man. Not knowing that you're being cloned and being used and all of this, and then to find out that you are, so basically your whole life was a lie, your identity was stolen, your DNA was stolen. I got a feel of all of that from these movies. Hell, I'll even go as far as to say, right now, Marvel with the multiverse. You thought that you was the only one, and boom, vast multiverse and multiple yous. And then when you realize it, it's just like, you don't know how to feel. Am I even alive? Is this even real? Is there even a purpose? This movie really did good with showing Fonte go through those emotions. John Boyega portrayed that really well, because at a certain point, he just given up. He was just like, then what's the point? It's all rigged anyway. Went on about his made up life like he's been doing, to find out that his mom was nothing more than a radio on the table. The whole movie made me mad. And then to find out that the original clone was old. The original was old, so his mom was dead. Fonte didn't have a mother or a father. His brother was nothing more than placed memories. He literally had nothing. So I understood when he, in the middle of the movie, where he was like, man, well, just screw it. There ain't no point. But I don't know the budget of the movie. All I know is the movie was good. And whatever budget they used every penny. And they used it well. Jamie Foxx, Tiana, John, they all did phenomenal jobs in these roles. Now, what I am hoping is that they leave this as a loose end. You left it on a cliffhanger, leave it on a cliffhanger. Let people come up with fan theories of what could happen. Please don't put out another movie. Do not do it. Don't do it. I don't know. Leave it, because you're gonna screw it up. There's a few times where Netflix puts out really good movies, right? They put out really good movies, and then boom, they put out a sequel or put out a series, and then it's crap. Or they put out a season 1 of a series, and then boom. They do the complete opposite on what they should do. Okay? Extraction 2, in my opinion, the first Extraction was phenomenal. Extraction 2 was basically the first one, just different environment, a couple of different characters. It's basically the same thing. It gave nothing new. You know what I mean? So please leave it alone. Leave it alone. I do think you should give directors more creative freedom, like Mr. Taylor here. I do think directors should have more creative freedom, because now we actually get to see their visions. But this video is going on for over 20 minutes now. If you have not watched that movie and you sat and watched this, go watch it. Let me know in the comment section what you think. You can see the director's inspirations. You can see his heart and his passion in this movie. You can see that. And being that he was passionate about the film, I was passionate enough to sit there and watch it. I didn't have any faith in this, because Netflix be putting out some questionable things. Hell, this was horror, thriller, suspense, all wrapped into one. And you didn't even have a demon or nothing in the movie. There was a couple times where I was scared. There was this scene in a club where them 3 characters went to a club, and the DJ put on this brainwashed music, and everybody like that. Like, you know what it reminded me of a little bit? It Follows. Although It Follows was one entity and it walked at its same pace, but when it caught up to you, it killed you. It reminded me of that. And Spy Kids, where they was on that island with them thumb monsters, and all of them clones or robots was under like brainwashed, and they followed the kids throughout that faculty until they all ended up in that one room surrounding them. That scene reminded me of that down to the T, because as soon as that DJ put on that music, gave an order, everybody in that club, mind you, all of those people were clones that was in that club. Everybody went into this trance and they were in a car, started chasing them. The car went dead. They all surrounded the car, started shaking the car, and then just stopped. Just stood there looking. I got goosebumps, because I'm like, what is going on? Right? I was like, what the hell? And then you see this car pull up. So I'm like, okay, this is who's controlling all of this. Nope, he's the hired muscle. He gets out the car, he's given exposition, right? For some reason, the villains give their whole plans, but it made sense. And then a clone of Fonte and Tyrone and the other clones got out the car. Clean cut suit was the driver and the muscle. You need to watch this movie. And if they release it on DVD, I will be picking the DVD Blu-ray up, adding it to the collection, because this is one of those timeless movies. I feel this will not be lost in time. This will be one of those movies that people will talk about and watch for years. But you let me know in the comment section what you thought of the movie if you watched the movie. This video is going on for 24 minutes, right? I got to edit it and everything. But yeah, this movie was something else, guys. Again, thank you for your support. Please, I got to get back in the algorithm out there on this platform, so please share the video. Engage with it. Take clips of it and put it on TikTok. Do what you got to do to get people to watch the video. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you soon. We'll be doing a lot more. There's a lot of movies that I missed on doing reviews. Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man No Way Home, The Flash. Don't get me started. There's a whole bunch of horror movies. The Voyage of Demeter. I will be doing a review on that. My next review will be on The Boys. They have a spinoff show coming out. There's going to be a lot of content coming. A lot of content. Life has been really good for me, but it's also been really hard. But I will never give up on you guys again. I really appreciate you guys. Keep in touch. Subscribe, like, comment, turn them bell notifications on. Thank you. Love you guys.